The legacy that I'm part of and the legacy I continue is generational. Legacy is the difference you make by the actions you take. My father's company, he was a founder. We build what matters. Buildings, relationships, careers, trust, certainty, and success. After I started having my own children, my story for the next one began. My first baby was Frank Breach. Everybody gets sectioned, I was not. Then I broke my tailbone twice. On my fourth pregnancy, I wanted to deliver it my way. And there wasn't a choice in the hospital. So I had a home birth. That changed the game. I got to deliver in the position I chose, not to break my tailbone. I woke up in the morning, when the kids woke up, we were all one. I said, everybody needs to have an option. Because C-sections back then was going sky high. We were at 84% C-section rate. That is criminal, actually, because you're telling the moms they can't. But it's not true. But it's a cash flow. So I became a childbirth educator, and of course, who shows up? Single moms. And the first single mom that showed up, her family had kicked her out. She found out that the father was married. And what are you going to do? What's she going to do? She was a student, she was a nurse, going to nursing school. She was working full time. And yet she was penniless because just do the math, right? So we've had over 100 women come and stay through our home over 20 years. And I'm proud to say that all but 2 babies are still with their original moms. The baby's never the problem. It's what we think. But they would come and stay before or come during labor. We had a lot of deliveries at my house, just saying. Or they stay for 3 weeks after. But in the hospital, they get 3 days to make a life-changing decision. And under that kind of crisis, right, they're not thinking. Families are upset. The other 2 babies are open adoptions. The one mom became her own daughter's godmother, babysitter, and travel companion with the family. And she got a full scholarship to Northwestern and became a doctor. Quantifiable results. When you open your heart and you're really doing what you're called to do, and you know the story behind the story makes you why. So when you have the good, the bad, and the ugly story, that gives you a resolve that nobody can take away from you. So we've served over 4,000 families, delivered over 1,200 babies. My oldest, who started doing labor support with me when she was 8, became the midwife of our practice. And I'm proud to say that. We had a junior doula program because couples who decided to have home births and they had young children, they needed supervision because not everybody lives here, not everybody lives close by, they don't have their family. We became their adoptive family. So I would, however many kids there were, was how many supervising children of my own. I've got 8 children and 21 grandkids. They became the companions because they grew up with it. They knew what to do, how to do it, how to manage it. Like Mom walks in, everybody has a job. I don't care how little the person is. They can bring Mom the hot blankets or the food or whatever. So we make it a family affair. My oldest passed away October 21st of 21. In 2 years, my mother had died, and 5 of the other leading women in our family, grandmother, grandmother-in-law, and all that, and I became the matriarch at a grand old age of 26. And then, in your scenario, in 1986, my brother was missing and found murdered and dismembered. So I understand the grief process. There's two places in life nobody talks about: birth and death. That's my expertise. You birth it, you birth the heaven and you birth the earth. You can birth a product, a business, and a company, and it's all the same process. This tag, I created the original prototype in 1986. I went and got a job at United because I wanted the flight benefits. I wanted that lifestyle. My dad was a pilot when I was a kid, not for the airlines, but a private pilot. He was a trainer pilot. I wanted everybody to have a good time and not worry about their luggage. The story behind the story is, originally, it was a piece of paper on a string without airport codes. And the kicker is, there's a huge amount of colorblind bag tag handlers. So the tags would be guessing what color this is, or it got ripped off. And they would go to giant warehouses. Are you willing to share your idea? And to be there to really sincerely help somebody else? That was my goal. The law of compensation will come my way because it saved the industry over $1 billion since 1986. Globally, every airline around the world uses that tag. In 2003, I was given up for dead, sent home to die. And I went 96 days on water and prayer when they sent me home. I was allergic to everything, including the burn off in an IV tube. I was hyper acidic and they didn't know it. So when they sent me home, I was looking at my 8 children. My youngest was about 4. I thought, what's my last life lesson that's going to help them get over Mom not being here? Because that was my reality. My mom left too early. And I thought to myself, go out and find somebody to help. Hold on to somebody else's dream. Connect with somebody else's vision until you can get the one for your own. It's an important lesson. Because we can't do anything on our own. My dad said, if you can't build it from here, you can't build it from anywhere, because you missed the one lesson. Connecting to the human to human experience. So when I sent my kids out to find somebody to help, my number 5, she went on a people-to-people student ambassador trip to the South Pacific, Australia, New Zealand, Fiji. And there was a school and a pastor and a teacher who was praying for help. And it was a school where the kids were giving up on their dreams, getting sick on the water. The average family in Fiji makes $3,000 a year. High school is $500. They visit this high school, 1 classroom, 1 textbook, and the classroom could hold 25 kids. 275 are sitting outside waiting their turn. My husband and I, when she came home, she said, I think I found who I want to help. Well, lo and behold, Reader Digest kind of story. The chief, with a wave of his hand, said, God said I'm to give 100 acres, and it's for all the children of Fiji and anyone else to come, and it's a $60 million school campus. Big things don't come to small people. What are you willing to face? So the story behind the story gives us our why. I want to know you. I want to build your dream with you. I want to love you. I want you to know me. And the power of holding the space. We can hold, for example, you have a small dream, and that's what you're focused on. It takes up the same space as that $60 million project. And it takes the same process. So when you are willing to be vulnerable, This slide with the heart, your heart is 5,000 times stronger than your brain, the signal from your brain. Yeah. So before I go someplace or I wake up in the morning, I close my eyes, I go out to the universe, and I said, and energetically, I touch the globe. And I said, hi, I'm Carol Wachniak, and I'm looking for my next best friend. So when I meet you, I already know you. I don't have to worry about it. We've already been connected energetically through love. There's a reason that we're connected. There's a reason I want to build a friendship. There's a reason I want to be a great referral for you to get your dream. The courage to face our good, bad, and the ugly stories. The courage to say, I'm going to help you. People have walked alongside me in my valleys. We've had a house sink in a sinkhole. I've had deaths. I've had births. There's not too much life experience I haven't had. Walking along somebody without drowning is a secret. Walking alongside them isn't always easy. But if you choose courage, you might not know the pathway, but if you're courageously willing to be willing, it makes a world of difference. So when I met with the Prime Minister in Fiji, we were sponsors to an international midwifery conference in 2017. We served 250 midwives, provided medical supplies for them, and it turned out, knowing the story behind the story, his mom was a midwife. So I had this packet and about that much more documents, because with the land, we have it all approved, everything is there. And I came to CO Space because I thought I needed capital to build a school. Bernie Dorman from CO Space, he knew the contractors. He already knew the contractors I worked with. He already knew the land, the Shangri-La Fijian Resort. The chief owned that land. He owns the island. He owns 1,000 acres, 100 of that is for us. And I went to CO Space because Bernie taught capital. I learned a great lesson from him. And same thing with Sharon and Robert Kiyosaki. Find the products or services or businesses that will create the cash flow to support this project. So that's what I've been doing. And I made great connections. So when I handed this document to the Prime Minister, we had tea. Somebody called me up and said, you want to have tea with the Prime Minister next week? I said yes. I jumped. I booked an Airbnb and I left the States with $200 in my pocket. Because I'd already built friendships on the other side. I knew I was going to be okay. And so I handed this to him and I said, this is the biggest birth I've ever had to deliver. And I laid it on his lap. This project is the same price as the whole country's budget. The secret of this project is, like what I can say here in Chicago, oh, my dad built that. Look at Lutheran General Hospital, look at Northwestern, look at Good Sam, look at hotels. There's 5 in this one block area. My dad did that. So I'm a homeschool mom. So building the school is the classroom. There's 14 provinces. Break it down. Build a team from that one province. Who wants to know how to lay bricks? Who wants to be the kid on the heavy duty piece of equipment? You know how his eyes are going to light up like a Christmas tree? They built at school. They take those skills back to their province. Now they know how to make an earthquake-proof or hurricane-proof or cyclone-proof buildings. It's easy, it's simple. And they get to do what I get to do. They own it. They're anchored in their truth. No one can take that away from them. Their quantifiable results changes when they took the action. No one can take away my quantifiable results because I've done the work. And turn around and teach that. My homeschool life lessons are learn it, teach it. Learn it, teach it. So now I have a doula certification program. And I have private clients as owners' agents. I've done the same thing for projects for Panama, the Indian reservations, India. That's the quiet side of me. The heart side of me is loving you as you birth your project. And that's why I network. But I network with a purpose. Don't play too small. Look beyond you. What's your legacy going to be? I have mine. Are you networking or not working? Who is in your mentorship circle? I'm going to tell you a secret. I read books. First editions, first person. Because when we're sitting at the table, I have that first person's book on that slot. That they are my board members. When I read, you don't read a book and write a book report about the book. You read a book and you write down the aha moments you got in the book. Because intentionally, that person is just like you and I sitting here. And that's your roadmap, your yellow brick road, to build whatever it is you want. Then you get to invite others into that table. And when you know their story behind the story, you know them. And they know you. And it makes a difference. So if you add up who's in your phone, who's in your social media, who's on your LinkedIn account. I have the largest birthing community on LinkedIn, by the way. And every one of those Rolodexes in your phone. So when we're sitting at the table, we're not just sitting at the table as one person. And so it's easy for me to make the referral. And I just tell them, and one of my names on the social media is called Carol. I get calls all the time from around the world asking me questions, all sorts of questions. And if I don't know the answer, I know who to go to and why I'm going to them. And I tell people when I give a number, just say, Carol told me to call you. And you really use business cards. If I'm going to do business with somebody, I just give my phone number. Because you want me, text me. It's the best way to reach me. So I just want you to know, who knows your dream? Who knows you? Do you have a community and a system to achieve that dream? Emily's created a community. I'm in great communities with a purpose. And life brings you labor contractions with your dreams. We've all been trained to do labor. What did you do when you were growing up, when you were in pain? How did you handle that pain? You've been doing labor management your whole life. All we do as doulas and midwives come alongside you. And it's the exact same pattern with this or anything else you're creating. So pay attention to that. And contrasts are not your downfalls. The contrast moments is your opportunity to love yourself more, to give yourself more grace. Allow that wave to pass by and say, what am I supposed to learn? Because you're just out of alignment. That's it. So my call to action is reach out to me on LinkedIn. Have a conversation. Tell me your dream and let me get to know you. And I'll love you till you get your dreams. Thank you.